Hello guys and girls, and I thought I'd do a quick video of our social session, our latest one on B1, and just a quick story about it really. You joined me not at B1, you joined me at my local gravel pit that I'm concentrating on, but I thought there's not many people here. I don't like to make a lot of noise when people are here, so just do a quick story. So we rock up to B1. The situation had changed already. Like there was meant to be a charity match on. I let my mate organise it, but actually a few days before going, they were like, no, there's no charity match. So our plans as such got scarpered because we planned just to jump into some swims, you know, find out who's perhaps been catching, and try and, you know, work out where to jump in around then. But yeah, alas, it didn't end up that way, and it ended up as great as linear is, and it just shows how great linear is, a bit of a bun fight really. You know, trying to find two swims together to have this social was a bit of a mission, but anyway, we ended up in peg 39 and 40, which is, if you know B1, sort of the lower end. You've got like the point swim on this side, and then sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on this side, and not many shows. You know, it was very slow. But we decided these swims because the wind, although not the most favourable of the winds, was pushing in towards us, and you know, I think the fish there do follow the wind, you know, when it's slightly warmer like this anyway. But anyway, we get out and we both fish at range, fish 2 out on the spot there, and always like one in a cheeky margin position because there's a bit of weed in front of us that gets the sun there quite a bit past sort of mid-morning this time of year throughout the day. So yeah, that was the plan of action anyway. The first day, few shows, not what you'd expect for linear at this time of year. You know, usually when we've been there before, it's just a dolphin show. It's just they're moving around. Didn't feel that way. Feel very dead indeed. It just didn't, you know, just weren't feeling great. But so, you know, we go in to the first day, into the night, and you know, you feel hopeful there because it's linear fisheries. It's what, 2,000 carp in B1, which is what, a 20-acre lake. I mean, that's a phenomenal stock. So you always have that feeling of hopefulness. And just before dark, you know, we were seeing a few shows over us. So it's quite a spectacular show in the last, you know, hour or so of the day. And the people where we were going to go but have to fish with someone between us for a little while, they were starting to have it off. They were, I think, we could hear them because they were quite loud. You'd expect that at the date of the water, I suppose. We could hear everything they were saying, put it that way. And it sounded like, I don't know, Wes is probably a better storyteller than me on this part, but 5 or 6 fish, I want to say up to 42. You know, and their average they were saying was 38 out of the hit of fish that they had. So they'd obviously done quite well in the last couple of hours leading up to dark. So darkness come, we're having a chat. We're not feeling massively hopeful, although pleased to hear that people are catching. I was saying to Wes, like, at least people are catching near us. If that bulk of fish moves over us, we're certainly going to know about it. And we were chilling outside, you know, having a laugh and whatnot. And I said to Wes, the minute we get into the bivvy and zip up, that's when it's going to start happening. So we're both a bit. Poor old Wes, got a young family, he doesn't get to sleep much anymore. I zip up my bivvy, and I believe it was my left rod, so the middle and left rod are the ones out on the spot. The left rod is beep, beep, beep. Right rod, looked at the receiver, beep, beep, and I was like, what the hell? So I was thinking, okay, maybe I'm getting some liners now, finally some fish are moving on top of me. I used to zip up the bivvy, watch it beeping, see what the bobbins are doing, zip down the bivvy, and I do this a multitude of times, 4 or 5 times. Zip up to it, I went and stopped. So I lay back in my bed chair, just about to go to sleep, and then the right rod perks up, and I'm like, yes, I'm in. And anyway, I felt this fish, and it felt a good fish. I was lunge, and it didn't feel quite right. I thought, have I picked up a trailer? I could feel good. And then the other rod started to beep a little bit, and I'm thinking, this fish has picked me up from over here, you know, quite a margin position, not too far out like the other ones, probably still 8 wraps, but over that marginal weed, and I can feel it grating on these 2 lines, and these, so I get the 2 rods off the stand, try and sort it out, but I just couldn't work out which way it kind of gone around these lines. So I'm like, do you know what, I'm in for it now, this fish is getting closer, I'm just going to have to go with it. So yeah, lunge, it starts running out, and then back again, and then lunge and lunge, and I couldn't work out if it was a good fish or whether the impact of the 2 lines around this fish was making me believe that this fish is bigger than what it was. Anyway, after about 10 minutes of lunging small runs, the fish broke the surface, and I could see definitely it was over the 2 lines, and I'm like, shit, playing this fish, and I think, and then literally getting its head up and managing to, you know, to finally get something on it to be able to get a net close to it, but then the 2 lines had a little bit, and I'm like, shit, 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, try my absolute hardest, and I finally managed to get the net under it, and I'm like, yes, I'm off the mark. So I bring it to me, get the hook out in the net, and I see this wide fish, and I'm looking at it thinking, my UK PB is 36.8, so I'm looking at it thinking, you know what, that might just nick it. So I get it in the net, unhook it like I say, get the sling out, get it zipped up in the sling. Quite an easy transition from net to sling, not like the last fish that I'll show you at the end of this video as well from the pit I've been focusing on. But anyway, so I get it in the sling, zip it up, thinking, yes, sort the 2 rods out the best I can just in case they do go, but I'm sure they've been displaced off the spot by this point. So I walk over to Wes and I zip up these an area, well, before I even get to the biggest, I'm thinking, oh bloody hell, it's only been like 45 minutes, but again, he's got a young family, he's knackered obviously. We're not getting any younger, you know, we're pushing on the way to 40 now, we can see it in her eyes, and there's 40, it's coming towards us. Anyway, I zip up this bivvy and I'm like, Where's? And he's like this. I'm like, where's? I've got a banger in the net. And he just kind of looks at me like this and he goes, that's nice, boy. And then goes back to sleep, and I'm thinking, this boy is not going to get up. And I'm thinking, I'm going to weigh it. If it's a PB, he's bloody well getting up. And alas, 36.8. And I'm thinking, do you know what? The poor bloke's obviously knackered. Just do the video, take your photos, you know, and let him sleep. You know, it is an incredible fish. It's an incredible moment, of course. You know, off the mark. But I'll show you that fish in a second. So I'll put that back, get the rod back on the spot, sort the other 2 rods out. By this point, it's like 2 in the morning. We go through to the next day, and barely anything. I mean, a few sporadic shows, like a few. And then there'll be an hour, nothing. And this next day, even the people that were having it off, just calmed down. So we go through the whole day. My mate finally has a more consistent shows by the tree on the left, if you a bit of a plateau over to pick 1, and it's tight. And by this point, people are turning up and they're casting over to near where his spot is, and he's just not liking it. And that's the problem with choosing end swims, I suppose. It's just all a bit tight. And yeah, a few more shows over his tree. I'll go, mate, you've got to chuck a bag on them. And he does, and he starts having a few liners, and I'm like, yes, because I want to get Wes off the mark. I'm personally not one of them greedy people that want it all to myself. I want, if you go with someone, you know, it's never going to be perhaps the same amount. You know, the first time he smashed me, he had like 5, and I think I had 3. Last time I had 2, he had 1. You know, and it's never going to be, but you always want, especially when you're travelling nearly 3 hours going to such renowned dating waters such as that, where you can have multiple hits of fish. You want to make sure it's fairly even, or you both caught. So yeah, like I say, it dinks it in this area where these fish are showing liners, and then one of the close spots where these fish seem to be in a line, probably about 10 wraps out, you know, has been where some consistent shows have been along whatever this is. I mean, it feels quite clayey there, maybe there's like a play bar there, I don't know. But yeah, we the first day put a load of boilies and put one on, and then this lovely carp just rolled over this bed of boilies it had put out, and yeah, it was getting frustrating for Wes and for me as well, because there was at points fish right over our spots and nothing. So we go into the next night and it's just dead. So we get a fairly early night. I mean, Wes needed to sleep, right? No, we get a fairly early night, and we were talking about Thorpe Park, and I was like, I really want to go to Thorpe Park again this year. Haven't been on Hyperia. Bit of thrill-seeking, lads. We get up the next day and there's a certain spot Rod gone for a pee, and that was round the back of the bay where all these reeds are, out at the sight of people. So I'm going for a pee, and I've kept koi for years and just having a piss, and I was like, you guys will know that smell of carp, and that ain't just the smell of carp, that is the smell of carp spawn. And I believe them fish are grouped up mainly on the other side. They've worked their way down the bay because people were having them along there, and I think they were grouped up and they were ready to spawn. They were moody. And down here, for instance, I'm sitting here, I've done the night because we come back not early, but I had a few more days off, and I was planning to do some stuff around the house. But then this westerly front had moved in, low pressure. I thought, bang on, right? I was going to fish the round, where, if you've watched my videos last year, where I've been having multiple hits of fish, but that's absolutely rammed. So I decided to go down this lower end of this tricky pit. This is a tricky pit. It's not for everyone. You'll blank, 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 and then you'll have one. And most people will give up by that point. And it has tested me this lake, talking about this lake quickly, but I had one finally. I had one last year, didn't fish it much last year, and I finally had one a few sessions ago, which I'll put up after showing you the one from Linear. So, but this is tricky. I mean, 2 shows yesterday at midday, like, what? That's very uncommon here. And then 1 show at night, and I thought they might follow the wind, and that was down the bottom end where the wind is pushing in here. It's pushing in down here, but then it's pushing into the bay where I've got 2 rods positioned here and then 1 down here. But don't know, anyone else, if you've watched this long, found it tricky over the last few weeks? I mean, this is textbook westerly wind, low pressure, new wind. I thought maybe there might be a bite, maybe I'm not positioned right, but I've been watching the water further up where the hot spots are, and I haven't seen a fish, whether they've just shown when I haven't been looking. But anyway, a real tricky session on B1, not what you'd expect, but there you go. There's 2 points of never expect a fishery as such as that to always produce, and never expect a bite from a venue which, okay, is tricky, but the best possible, almost the best possible conditions. You know, southwesterly would be bang on, but it's westerly and it's low pressure. There you are. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'll show you the video and a few photos of the fish at Linear B1, and then a few photos of the fish I had out of this tricky bit here a few sessions ago. But if you want to pop your comments in, guys, about if you've been fishing the last few weeks and you've found it the same, like just ridiculously tricky, I'd really appreciate your feedback on that to make sure we're not going mad and doing things the wrong way. Anyway, as always, tight lines on your next session. Let's have a look. So I'm off the mark. Excuse the phone angle. Need to get another phone stand. So I'm off the mark. Right rod absolutely melted off on a tiny little mesh PVA bag. Barely anything. The fish are not on it at the moment. But this one certainly liked what I put out there. 36 pound, 8 ounces of Kraken B1 mirror carp. Look at that. Wide old fish. Beautiful. Been a while since I've held a fish like this, so I'm savouring every minute. Alright, beautiful. Let's get her back. Cracking bit of B1 mirror carp. at 12:30 at night. Show after show over our swims. Nothing. I did say to my mate, as soon as we get zipped up in the bivvy, and this one finally melted off. Whew. £36, 8 ounces. Look at that fish. Incredible. She's ready already. Look at that fish, look at them scales. Not the most glamorous of releases. Look at how wide that